What's a song that emotionally breaks you every single time the magic of friendship grows? I just. It's such a great way to send off the series, but I'm angry because it's over, but I'm so happy because they stuffed it full of cool references, but I'm sad because there won't be any more, but I'm glad it's over now, when it's still fantastic, instead of letting it go on and on until it devolves into garbage, but I want more, but it's so good and beautiful and perfect I can't complain, but it's over and I want more, so I want to hate it but I can't because it's beautiful and I just. Crying face, crying face, crying face, crying face, crying face, hard, 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 smiling face with hearts, smiling face with hearts, smiling face with hearts, crying face, crying face, crying face. The more I listen to this song, the less and less it affects me, but when I first began, it would bring me to tears, every time. It's actually been in my collection for years before I actually began listening to the lyrics. Then it began sinking in. The song is called A Sailor's Prayer by Ron McDonald. Here's a link to the lyrics, and a link to a YouTube video of it being sung, but I prefer the version I've got in my collection. The harmony is simpler. 7 Years by Lukas Graham. The second I hear those first few chords, my hand flies to the skip button or I change the radio. I know we all age and aging is a good thing, it means we're living, but I don't need to hear it in such a condensed timeline. I try to face the song every few years and see if I can hear it without crying or going to a dark place. It's getting easier as I age, but I'm still not there yet and I'd just rather not listen to it, especially randomly. Ghosts by Music's beautiful but it deals with something that hits too close to home. I lost someone in a pandemic and felt exactly that way. Beautiful Girl by Dolores O'Riordan. It reminds me of a close friend who was passing through a very hard moment when we first met, and because of the fallout from that I'll probably never see her again. For me, it really just depends on the day, moment, etc., but once it can absolutely have an effect on me. Goodbye My Lover James Blunt. Say Something A Great Big World. Angel Sarah McLachlan. Always Remember Us This Way I'll Never Love Again Lady Gaga. Wish You the Best Lewis Capaldi. Only because I now think of the music video for this song and it is heartbreaking, crying face. So many more but I'll just leave it at these. A Fond Farewell by Elliott Smith. I've struggled with severe depression and suicidal ideation most of my life. This song just absolutely puts my darkest moments into words. King's Crossing is the other one by Elliott that does it for me. I've come so close to taking my life when listening to these two songs, but something always weirdly happens that makes me stay. Foo Fighters My Hero. Especially the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert where his son is playing the drums. I tuned into the concert after I'd seen my dad awake for the last time. It randomly played on the radio again at 5:30 in the morning on my way home from the hospital after my dad had a stroke and was put in a medical coma. He was able to donate his kidney to Alive. Breaks my heart every time. Bad by U2. Written in response to a heroin epidemic. The basic idea of the song is, I really am there with you, and I would take all of it away if I could. This desperation, dislocation, separation, condemnation, revelation and temptation, isolation, desolation, let it go, and so to fade away. I'm not sleeping. Oh no! By the time he gets to the end, I'm in tears. Perfect by Simple Plan. My dad left our family right before this song came out and I was only 14. It brings me to tears every single time. I saw them live back in 2011 and when they played it I was front row surrounded by people way younger than me. I just started sobbing and the singer came and held my hand while he sang. It was so damn special and younger me needed that. Paul Simon Slip Sliding Away. This part, specifically. I knew a father who had a son. He longed to tell him all the reasons for the things he'd done. He came a long way, just to explain. He kissed his boy as he lay sleeping, then he turned around and headed home again. Jesus fucking Christ, Paul Simon, why did you have to do that to us? Military life has taken me far from home. I don't get back as often as I should. L2G? Seek Zuzimk 7 or Kip. Kilkelly, a series of letters from a father to his son abroad asking, begging that he come home to visit. This song of my childhood destroys me now. Vienna by Billy Joel. I always had a strong connection to the song, but after being diagnosed as autistic in my mid-20s something clicked and now I just sob when I listen to it all the way through. Also, it plays in that one scene from 13 going on 30 and that never failed to start up the waterworks to begin with. Frank Ocean x Siegfried. I remember listening to it on my first acid trip and thinking it was the most emotionally beautiful piece of music ever. When I hear it, it still makes me feel something that I can't put into words. It doesn't break me, but it steps through every wall I have and it dances with me. I have been through the ringer this past year, lost my dad, dealing with that on top of taking care of my mom whose Alzheimer's has gotten much worse. I experienced my dad dying once, she experiences several times a day. Part of my healing is my crying playlist. First song is One More Light by Linkin Park, Love of My Life by Infinite. A random song by random boy group, but 19-year-old me thought it was so gorgeous that I couldn't kill myself when I was about to and it came on. Always going to be a thing for me. I'm not religious, but Amazing Grace will reduce me to tears from the very first line. It was my grandfather's favorite song. He passed away on Easter Sunday when I was 11 and a beautiful rendition was played at his funeral. Just thinking about it is choking me up and it's been 35 years. Walk by Foo Fighters, lost my best dad. I used to always go to him for help with life's problems, showed me how to use tools, drive, just always gave me advice. When he died, I had to learn how to walk again, this time alone. GG, I got teary eyes lol. So my family member died young from fentanyl contamination a few years ago. A year before your golden birthday. I love her, but damn did she have horrible taste in music. Anyways, I made a playlist of what I could remember and now you can catch me ugly crying to Stupid Ho by Nicki Minaj. Broken Window Serenade by Whiskey Myers. It's perhaps the saddest song I've ever heard. Starts off as a regular old down-tempo country song then goes off a fucking cliff. Well, worth a listen, but only if you've got tissues at hand. This may sound silly, but the opening 90 seconds of Where the Streets Have No Name by U2 is one of the best starts to a song ever. Crank that volume to Spinal Tap 11 and listen to the anthem like organ and guitar together. It's pure harmony. Love this one. How Can I Tell You Cat Stevens. Channel Yusuf Toof Cat Stevens topic. Toof Cat Stevens topic. Because of Who reminds me of, all these years later. Gone Away by The Offspring. It was a song that was playing when I found out my grandpa had passed. He had cancer and was receiving at-home care, so it was expected, and now every time I hear it I believe it's his way of letting me know he's still around. That Celine Dion song from the Titanic. My husband and I saw it in the movie theater. I never would have imagined he would be dead 3 months later, but he was. Every time I hear it, it takes me back to seeing the movies, and the song is eerily appropriate. Jump Rope Blue October. It helped me come to terms with many things in life. Hey Dad, Good Charlotte, a personal one for me. The Light Disturbed, a newer personal one from my favorite band Sometimes Darkness Can Show You the Light. Lift Me Up by Rihanna. Went to the movies to see Wakanda Forever a week after my mom passed away. Then played the song at her memorial service. I can't listen to it now without a total meltdown. Beautiful song, very powerful, but no thank you. Dancing in the Sky by Danny and Lizzy. It was played at my grandma's funeral and I haven't fully listened to it since that day. It came up on my Spotify a couple weeks ago and I decided to listen to it. I've never cried that much in my life. Leather and Lace by Don Henley and Stevie Nicks. My dad always had a huge crush on Stevie Nicks. This was his and my stepmom's song. It always made me emotional, but after he passed in April, I break down every time I hear it. Black Pearl Jam. Sparks Coldplay. My ex sent me an audio clip singing this and playing on his guitar. I used to love it, but now I just don't want the memories. Also because I think he sent that clip to other women. Save Me by Avenged Sevenfold. So much to see tonight, so why'd you close your eyes? Why can't I shut mine? My sister killed herself in 2018 shortly after my son was born. So that line is haunting in more ways than one. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Had an uncle that taught me to play guitar. This was one of many that he taught me, but it was one that we played every time we got together. He was murdered Thanksgiving of 2004. Red Warrior, by Hans Zimmer from The Last Samurai soundtrack. Tragedy Is Not the End, by Joe Lancet. Summer Clouds, by How Great Were the Robinsons, Maybe California, by Tori Amos. Farewell Party, Gene Watson. 1. I'm not a country fan, but my grandmother sure was, and this song played at her service and it turns me into a big ol' crybaby during the slight chance it plays somewhere near me. White Houses by Vanessa Carlton. Its overall theme of friendships that couldn't survive the drama pain of adolescence has always been incredibly relatable for me. Also Sunshine on My Shoulders by John Denver. You Should Be Here by Cole Swindell. Watching You by Rodney Atkins. House That Built Me by Miranda Lambert. The first because of my grandfathers, and the other two are actually because of dogs I've lost. Nick Cave: Oh Children. Portishead Roads. Radiohead: Lucky Black by Pearl Jam. Sounds of Silence cover by Disturbed. Pirate Looks at 40 by Jimmy Buffett. Like a Stone by Audio Slave. Corey Taylor made me cry at his show last night with Snuff, which was a first. Walk Like Thunder by Kimya Dawson. The line "People my age are not supposed to die like that." Found the song after a good friend passed. Very different circumstances, but that line hits hard. Wash Away Those Years by Creed. That song I associate with a childhood classmate that was brutally murdered by her father when we were in the 8th grade. That was 23 years ago. Miss You Jessica. This Is the Life by Amy MacDonald. It was the final melody shared with my dear friend before he was taken from this world. Every note now resonates with the profound emptiness of his absence. The Living Years by Mike and the Mechanics. I didn't really cry when my dad died, and then about a month later, I found myself sitting in the car listening to this song and crying my eyes out. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. It's such a beautiful song about change and getting older. My marriage of 23 years ended a few years ago and my kids are soon off to college, so it really hits home. I tear up over songs which aren't particularly teary songs, such as the Immigrant Song, because they remind me of being young, strong, and bulletproof. Youth is wasted on the young. Most recently, Last Resort reimagined Falling in Reverse. Every time it comes on the radio, emotions stir inside me and I tear up. Original song by Papa Roach: If Anyone Needs to Know.